He is summoned to another world for the second time and becomes the strongest wizard. Again, and what is a simple student? Enjoying his boring school day when his friend and Ri ask him that he was. He tries to remember that she should interact with him because people will start annoying rumors about them, but she doesn't care. Are just childhood friends. She notices how he has grown his hair long and asks him if he wants her to cut it again, and he finally opens up a little more and smiles at her. More and smiles at her, allowing her to do this. To do so, saying that she doesn't change. She smiles at him, happy that he accepted, and tells her that they will be friends, and the one then looks out and thinks about what the other world is doing at that very moment. All sees the windows go dark and a circle appears on the classroom floor. Everyone starts to panic except Yuki, who seems to understand what is. Seconds later, everyone in the class opens their eyes and sees that they are in a vacant lot, and the one who looks around and gets very excited because he knows where he is, and the king wants to know, but everyone's attention of everyone to a noise nearby. Suddenly the student sees some soldiers, Shintek soldiers, walking towards them. They pick up the pace, causing the students to run away because of their panic, except for Yuki, who is standing still because he already knows his magic power, not wanting to see his childhood friend to be hurt, and the Ri quickly holds Yuck at that very moment. One of the soldiers tries to crush them, and the one who uses only one finger to defeats him, and the two start to run away. As they advance, they see some infantry soldiers running towards them to fight the giants whom they call demons. The students watch the battle of the two groups, but what are you thinking that the war should be over after looking at the demons again, and the one who begins to feel a pain in his chest and realize that has been cursed. A girl riding a horse appears and speaks to the students who take refuge while the royal knights protect them, but it seems that the one who already knows who that girl is, she and the remaining soldiers engage in a battle against the demon horde using fencing and magic. They seem, despite being so young, and the one who does not seem surprised by this. Instead, he seems proud of them both. Then start to retreat, taking advantage of this protection. After being taken to the castle, the king of Destinia and his daughter Margaret thank the heroes for coming to their aid. He explains that his kingdom is invaded by demons, and just like 5 years ago, a group of heroes has been summoned to their world, but the students were confused and unable to understand the situation. Margaret explains in detail that 5 years ago a hero was summoned to their world, and he defeated the demons and brought peace to them, but suddenly that same hero mysteriously disappeared. The king urgently asked the heroes to put an end to the war in progress between demons and beasts, begging for their help. Every student was forced to learn and train his fencing with line magic, however, and the one who had the intention of escaping and just enjoy the ride noticed that the one who was relaxing during training and alerted him to return the first compliment to his calm composure in this strange world, but then mentions that his selfishness is on par with the former hero. She told him to go back to training, but he simply mocked her. She decided to teach him a lesson, but he simply ends up slapping her after dodged the attack. When she felt the hands hitting her heart jumped fast, and what is the former hero? She knew it was him immediately and treated him with affection. She could not help but express how consolidated she would be after he left, and the one who apologized and assured that he was back forever while he uses a chair therein shows up with no idea of what's happening, but they inform him, and he realizes that it is the channel that would act like this if this person was not the former hero. They quickly inform his other comrade, but she is not surprised because she already knew. She felt the magical power of and what, despite her new appearance, and what then mentions that he once he promised that he would be back, and now he has fulfilled. His 3 companions stand at first and with warm smiles on their faces, and who then thinks that they could have died during his time in the other world, and quickly changes his expression. He was wondering why the demons were attacking again. The group quickly uses his mind and reveals that he has some questions for. They ask him how he managed to back to this world, and why he looks like someone else. They explain who his point of view is. He simply disappeared after his last battle, but saw that he still doesn't understand why he was sent back to his world. According to he was fighting against his own companion called Tommy, landing a few blows and wounds. But when and what he managed to hit. Shoulder, a magic ball began to expand slowly, and he slowly expand, and he was reborn in his world. He kept all his memories and magical power, and somehow was summoned once again to this world, and he also does not understand how this happened, and that is what mentions what the princess had told earlier. This last summons is not a coincidence, but he saw that he doesn't want to care about it right now. He wants to know what happened to him after receiving his last blow. He mentions that if Toma is still alive, he is probably responsible for the demonic invasion. He asks her if the demons are being controlled by the curse, by the power of Toma, and what he confirms by mentioning the magical power he felt from the demon a few days ago. Then the only explanation is that Toma is behind everything, is what explains why they also searched for Thomas just like they did with Y, but they also found anything. But now that they know that the one who is alive, they believe that here too is a soldier. Interrupts anxiously, claiming that the king urgently called therein. While therein comes out and mentions that his companion is working hard, and reaches that the one is the one who was originally going to get that job, but saw that he didn't want it. His plan was to simply travel around all over the world after the final battle, but ended up in this situation while looking at the landscape, and starts to wonder what he is planning inside the castle. The king complains that he never should have accepted a peace treaty, decides to declare total war against all the demons, but they're tempting him because if the emissary did not return with news after being sent to the demonic continent, the princess disagrees, him mentioning that the demons that invaded them and the heroes being summoned at the same time is more than proof that the war will end. The king back again by mentioning that he should never have believed the first hero to make a peace treaty, and even mentions that if he disappeared, then it means that they just made the wrong decision at the training camp. And Ria is practicing magic spells, for it seems that she has a natural talent for it, and he approaching congratulates her and mentions that she is talented. She thanks him, but he quickly realizes that there is something wrong with her. He asks her what's wrong, and she asks if she is practicing to hurt people, and why someone should go to war, and what does the truth know. And he doesn't know how to answer her because it would hurt her, but despite this feeling, she recovers quickly and tells her that she will use her magic talent to. Later, Yuki's companions approach him to reveal the king's plans to start the war. Therein manage to gain some time by mentioning that the heroes will die in the first wave and need more training. But what about has already made up his mind he will go out and stop the war on his own again. He believes that this war is a stupid thing to create, and it is he who needs to have it. All three smile at him and begin to say they want to go with him like in the old adventures, but what he refuses, he needs to go alone. Also, they can't leave the castle and the students on their own. He also mentions that if he is the one instigating the war, then someone has to stay in the castle because he is sure will attack him, and this is more than enough reason for them to stay. And help the kingdom. But before they leave, and what needs one thing, your weapon. The group uses invisibility magic to walk around the storage room of the castle is digging in front of the Claudius guards, and the group mentions the old times when she always went ahead during the dungeon raid. She then starts to unlock, but the king notices something strange and sees them entering him inside, and what came out was a huge black sword that he calls a Cromero. However, the guards managed to find the guard who is the Kabuto, and they began to search the entire castle for the intruders, and then Ghislaine did everything to delay the situation by allowing them to hunt them out of the castle after finally passing through the castle walls. Castle is what tells him that the three will do everything to delay the king from starting the war, hoping that this will give and what enough time to stop takes and the demon invasion. But at the same time, and the IR that she saw in warehouse before she was able to follow him, she runs into his arms asking why and where he is going. He decides to reveal the truth by explaining that this is second time he has been summoned to this world, and that he needs to meet someone to stop this war. His eyes water, and she repeats to go with him, promising that she will be useful, but he sees that she can't allow herself to be hurt. It's too dangerous for her. She can contain her emotions, but she remembers her promise. She tells him to close his eyes, and she approaches him. In an instant, she casts some of wind and fire magic and gives him the haircut. She gets better, and with a smile she promises again that she will become strong and protect him. He does type in charge and tells her that if she dodges next time, then she will pass the test and accompany him. Watch.